we're going to get started then, talking about purchasing power. We're going to talk about some strategies to improve your financial health through some smart spending. All right, we're moving right along here.
There we go.
So tonight we're going to talk about making the most of our credit cards, and we're going to talk a little bit about the good and the bad of credit cards, seasonal financial planning, and implementing a spending freeze.
I love a spending freeze. Are we going to talk about Fiona though?
Yes. Thank you, Jade.
So Fiona, you're going to notice Fiona on the screen, Fiona the Fox. She is our new No Judgment Zone mascot. You'll be seeing her a lot more. She is here to kind of be the expert on all financial wellness. She'll give us some tips throughout the night. You will see her at any upcoming webinars that we're going to be having as well.
So we are excited to have Fiona as part of our team and helping us bring all this financial wellness goodness to you. Let's talk about how credit cards can work for you. I mean, I love that talking about this because credit cards do get a bad rap. A lot of times we think of them as bad, and that they're bad for our lives, they're bad for us to use, they're bad for our credit. But really, it's how we use credit cards that we can benefit us or hurt us. Let's talk about some tips on how we can utilize our credit cards in a good way.
For one, they can be an emergency backup. So maybe instead of getting loans, we can use them as in case of an emergency if something were to come up. That's one that I had to start with.
Absolutely. And yeah, so Sherry, to expand on what you were saying, I really view credit cards just as a tool. They're not good or bad. It really depends on how we're going to use them. And so we are kind of focusing on some of those good things that they can bring us. Another thing they can do is build our credit history, because a lot of us, when we're young, we're just starting out. A lot of us, our first credit that we take out is a credit card. You know, that's a common thing. You go off to college, you get a credit card. Hopefully someone has showed us how to use them responsibly. That doesn't always happen, but they certainly can be a really powerful tool if they're used the right way.
That's right.
Absolutely. I agree.
And then two, earning rewards. There can be different types of rewards programs. So some credit cards are not associated with an reward, at all. But some of them have either cashback rewards, or a lot of folks use credit cards for travel type of rewards.
Yep.
And the key, I think, really is paying those off every month. So if you're going to be using them, you want to pay them off every month that way.
Absolutely, because when you're using them and paying them off every month, especially when you have you're earning rewards points or you're getting cash back, that credit card is working for you. If you're not paying that credit card off every month, then you're actually paying the financial institution to give you those rewards or those cash back. So you really want to be careful. If you are someone that you don't think you'll be able to pay off the balance every month, but you want to have a credit card just in case for emergencies, get one that doesn't have any rewards or cash back features. Because they're going to be your lowest rate card. Okay, Julia, hang on just a second. Take a look at your comment. How do we know when a good day of the month would be to pay them off to save on the interest? So as long as you pay it off before the due date. So you want to pay it off before the day it's due, and that will be on your statement. If you do electronic statements or paper statements, either way, that will be on your statement. So you want to make sure you pay that off at the time of the statement. Does that answer your question, Julia? Oh, got another. Got it. Thanks. Okay, perfect. Great question.
You can also choose to pay it off more than once a month. I mean, I pay my credit card. Sometimes I just pay weekly. So if that worked for someone, you could just pay it off as you're spending a little more frequently. You don't have to, but you can.
I think that's a great tip, Jade. And if you're someone that gets paid weekly or
Sure.
bi-weekly, and that's better for your budget, and you want to work that into your budget, I think that's a great way to pay off your credit card.
Yep.
Good tip. Thank you.
Talking about the responsibility too. We talked earlier about how credit cards can work for you, but you have to make sure we're doing it responsibly in
Absolutely.
order to make them work for us.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I know this happened to me when I was young. I got my first credit card in college and it kind of got out of control a little quickly. I
Yeah.
talked about that with someone today. And I then had to figure out over the next probably 6 to 12 months about how to pay that balance back down. But I did learn an important lesson. And you know, for me, that really was tied into the impulse spending or the impulse purchases. Because when I was in college, I remember back to that time, I thought, oh, $10 here, $20 there, I'll be able to pay that off, no problem. Pretty soon I got my bill and it's like, oh, it's $1,000. You know, I've just kind of gone through without realizing or understanding that that's the
That
impact.
$10 coffee and the $20 movie you went to.
Right, exactly.
Add it up.
So using them responsibly is so key for sure. Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
And monitoring your spending. I mean, as Jade talked about the impulse buying, we're really paying attention to what we're putting on that credit card. If you are paying it off every month, then maybe we are using it as our everyday spend as opposed to the debit card. But if you're not paying it off every time, making sure that what we're putting on it is truly what's needed to be put on it and watching that regularly.
Exactly. Yeah, you really want to pay attention to how you're using it and what you're using it for. Okay, we have another item in the chat. What about cards that charge a fee? I have one that gives flight points for traveling, but they just raised their fee significantly. Can they be changed to a no fee credit card and keep the same credit card number? So all the time I have this credit card doesn't disappear from my credit score.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's a really unfortunate situation. And you're not gonna like my answer, but the only way to not have that credit card with that fee is to pay it off and cancel it. If you pay it off and not use it, you're still gonna have to pay that fee to have all the benefits. And that's one of the downfalls to the credit cards that have an annual fee with them, is that in order to not have to pay that fee, you do have to close it. And that's unfortunate because then you lose all of that great credit history.
Yeah.
Typically, when they have those fees, there are ways built into their credit card program to offset that or make the fee a little more palatable. Because
Okay.
there's been a kind of, a recent thing with a lot of places raising those annual fees on credit cards. So I would say it would be important to look into that particular card program to see if there's a way to either offset the fee completely, get the full value out of the fee, or see if there are things that you can do with the credit card to at least cut into the full impact of the fee.
So what you're saying, Jay, just so I'm clear, is there might be something in the explanation of the benefits of the card that if you do this, maybe it's if you use it X number of times.
Well,
Or-
oftentimes there's a travel credit. So for
Right.
instance, you get a travel credit that helps offset that fee.
Okay.
That's
Because
one
that's what she said. She gets flight credits,
Mhm.
right? That help. So if you're using it enough to get those flight credits, that helps offset that fee.
Right.
Right,
It just
okay.
depends though. It depends on the card issue.
Right.
Yep.
So, that would be another thing, ensuring that you are getting more of a benefit than what you're actually paying for.
Right.
So if the fee is less than what you would pay for airline tickets,
Mhm.
and because you're getting airline miles using that card, that would definitely be a reason to keep the card and pay that annual fee.
Yeah.
Let's see. She's saying, how many cards should you have? I have 2 major, 3 retail. My husband has 2 major and 4 retail in his name only. So I think it really is up to you what you want to manage. If you have those credit cards and you use them and you pay them off every month,
It's
I
fine.
think that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. If you're struggling to pay them off, then some we don't use at all. Okay, so the ones you're not using, I would typically use them on a periodic basis because you don't want them to close. Most retail, especially retail cards, will close if you don't use them at all, and then you lose all that credit history. So you will want to use them periodically just to keep them open, especially if you've had them for a while and you have good credit history.
I would say though, for someone who does struggle to keep up, you don't want a carousel of cards. You maybe
Right.
want two
Right.
max.
Yeah,
Because it's a lot easier to keep track of.
absolutely.
One or two versus 6 or 7.
Mhm. Absolutely. Great questions, guys. Keep them coming. We love to have these questions. And on this tip, I know we've talked a little bit about rewards cards and cash back cards. Understanding your interest rates. Well, if you're paying off your card every month, then the interest rate isn't as important. The only time the interest, you really want to be aware of interest rates is if you're not going to be able to pay off that card every month. Because if you're paying off that card every month by the due date, you are paying 0 interest. You should be paying 0 interest.
And of course, the credit card issuers don't like that, but it benefits you.
Right.
Yes.
So this is the thing about credit cards. If you use them and pay them off every month or every time you've used them, if you don't use them all the time, but you never carry a balance on them, you're using that financial institution's or that creditor's money for that period of time, rather than paying them through interest to use that money. So really being smart about how you use your credit cards is really important. Having a bunch of credit cards is not a problem as long as you're paying them off when you use them. It really benefits you to have that availability of credit out there and keeping your credit below 30% of usage, ideally 10% of your available balance. Great questions, guys. All right, moving on. Well, maybe.
It's a little persnickety tonight.
It is. All right.
There we go.
Okay.
This is my favorite. Halloween candy. $3.9 billion with a B is how much the United States consumers are going to spend this year on Halloween candy.
That
That's a-
actually feels like how much my kids would want me to spend just for all that, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
It is. It is.
And how do we even manage, I went and bought for our parade the other day and I spent $45 on 2 bags of candy.
Mhm.
So it's how do we even?
$45 on
Afford
2
that.
bags of
2 bags of
candy is a
candy is
lot of
crazy.
money.
Yeah, the price of candy has gone.
It's gone
way
way up.
Yes, it really has. It really has. Maybe we need to find other things to give out for Halloween other than candy.
Right.
We're going to be doing a lot of shopping in a very short period of time. 40% of all gift purchasing is going to happen between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday.
That's basically a 4-day weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
And what did we say, $450 billion?
About that, because on the next little square there, you see that the total Christmas US or holiday spending is forecasted to exceed 1.1 trillion. So that's about $450 billion
A day.
in 3 days.
In
or
3
4
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 3 days.
It's crazy. So if you're thinking about your holiday budget, contributing to that, you're not alone in how do we prepare for that holiday spending.
We have what's called the Burr months. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Burr months, the September, October, November, December. This is when so much activity happens in our purchasing. So we are purchasing back to school, we are purchasing holidays, we are purchasing food for the holidays, gifts, all of the things, travel expenses. They all really happen in these last 4 months of the year.
They really do. Sometimes we forget that because I don't know about the rest of you, but these Burr months really come up fast.
Fast.
It's January and then it's September and we're like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? So it's really preparing. We need to start preparing for these Burr months. If you're preparing already, great, love that. Throw it in the chat how you're preparing for all the expenses that we're going to happen in. Really, I mean, a lot happens in September. Kids are back to school in August, but we still have kid expenses in September because they've got sporting fees. There's still some school fees that we need to pay, things like that. But then we get into
Halloween.
and we're buying how many $1 billion worth of candy and
Almost 4 billion.
almost $4 billion worth of candy. And then we're going into Thanksgiving and dinner parties and family dinners and decorations and all the things that we want to have around the holidays in addition to gifts at Christmas. So it's really, how do we start thinking about those burr months, because they really will come up on us fast.
Well, knowing that those burr months are gonna come, something we could do in January is open up a 9-month certificate. And then that will mature in the fall. So 9 months after January will be the fall time when the burr months are starting to roll around. And so that's a way to, plan ahead for that.
I think that's a great idea.
And UICCU right now does have 9-month certificate special.
And
So yes.
we have some great certificate specials going on right now. If you are we still have 4% on our 9-month certificates. So if you're looking for a way to kind of sock away some money that you've set aside and earn more money on your money, check that out. Another, some other good ideas we've got.
Fiona's first tip.
Thank you, Fiona.
Thanks, Fiona.
Yes, thank you,
But
Fiona.
1% of your annual salary is really what you should be focused to pay for the holidays. The budgets are hard, and we all know that we surpass them often.
Mhm.
But if you know upfront 1%, that's what you should try to aim for.
Looks like we have a question.
We do. How do we get more info on certificates? Can we go in and meet with someone? Absolutely. Yes, you can. There's a couple of ways. You can go out to our website, uoficreditunion.org, and you can get information about certificates there. You can schedule an appointment to meet with one of our member service reps as well on the website. At the very top of the page, you'll see
It says appointment.
it says appointments. Just click on that and you can schedule the time of day, the location, and I think you can even who you want to meet with if
Yes,
you
you
know
can.
if you have
Yep.
a rep that you've worked with before. So you can also, if you are already banking with us through your digital banking app, you can open up a certificate of deposit in digital banking. Super easy, so you don't even have to come in and talk to anybody.
And that's what I do. I'm here, but
Right.
I still go through the app. It's super quick and easy. It literally takes 30 seconds or
Right.
something. You just
Yeah.
click through, done. It's just done.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very easy. So great question.
So
Thank you.
So if we think about 1% of the annual salary for the holidays, I know it's kind of obvious, but I thought, well, let me just break this down. So if I make $50,000 in a year, I should be spending about 500 at the holiday time. So just thinking about that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I wish Fiona had gone a little bit deeper here, because is that $500 on gifts? Or
Yeah.
is that $500?
It's probably everything. I don't
Yeah.
know, but that's a
Yeah,
good
I
question.
know. So Fiona, next time, let's get that. We want a little bit more information, Fiona, next time on that one. All righty. So another way that you can, if you want to start preparing this year for next year, think about opening up a Christmas savings account. And Jade, you had a really good comment earlier about when you set aside money for a specific reason.
Yes. And so when you open up a Christmas club or a holiday saver account, every financial institution gives it a different name, but most of them have something along these lines. When you know it is for that specific purpose, number one, you're less likely to dip into it for other things. But number two, when it gets to be that time of year when you have earmarked to spend it, so in this case around the holidays, you give yourself permission to not feel guilty about spending it. So you have that psychological thing that's going to say, okay, I know what this is for. I know the purpose of these dollars, and I will give myself permission to spend it for that, because it can be hard when you save money. It can be hard to spend the money.
Yes.
The other thing with this is I think, even if someone does $10 a week for the entire year, that's $520.
Yeah. Right.
Most of us can come up with $10 a week if we set it aside and we know that it's going for the holiday season. Then we're not going to spend it, and we'll have a nice little nest egg when that time rolls around.
I think that's a
Good
great
idea.
tip. I love my Christmas club. I think I've had a Christmas club for probably 30, 40 years. And what I love about it is money's payroll deducted into that account every payday. I don't miss it out of my paycheck. And then I get this little surprise in my savings account on October 1st, because I open up my digital banking and my balance has increased in my regular savings account. It's because my Christmas Club rolled into my regular savings. And I'm like, oh, wow, I really saved that much money. And so it is nice being able to have that. So thinking about that, we do have Christmas club accounts here at the credit union. And that is something that is super easy to open up if you're interested.
And Sherry, when you do that, payroll deduction, you're paying yourself first.
That's right. Good job.
So,
Faye. Yes.
With that concept, before you spend any of your money, you're setting that aside off to the side. You don't miss it. Like you said, you just don't miss it. And then you pay all your other bills after that.
That's right. So I am paying myself first, which is something that we talk about in our savings webinars as well. Good catch, Jade. All right. So let's talk about if we don't have that holiday fund. If we didn't prepare this year, but we know we're going to prepare next, start it for next year. What are some ways, Liz, do you think that we can start saving for
So-
this year and have money?
Cutting back on your expenses is a good one. I always like to talk about, cutting out like the streaming services. We can get away with them for maybe 2 to 3 months, right? Not paying for our Netflix, maybe our Amazon Prime, whatever it is. We can take those out. We can take those extra funds that we don't necessarily need, and we can use that to save.
Absolutely. Those streaming services really add up. And sometimes we may have duplicate or ones that we really don't use, but we forget about them. And because they're automatically getting paid either out of our checking account or out of on a credit card, we forget about them. So take a look at all those subscriptions that you have out there. There could even be, I have my, what's my book one?
Oh,
Yeah,
Audible.
my Audible one. And I know that's $15 a month.
Yes.
And so, if I were to go through all my subscriptions, I could find $50 a month that I could set aside for some extra holiday spending. Let's see if we have any comments. I'm just checking here. Okay. What else? I like the no spend November. We're going to touch base on that a little bit more. But and then again, there's side hustles. A lot of retailers are looking for Christmas help this time of year. And you just have to be disciplined. You can't be like me. If I work in retail, I'm going to spend my money. I won't get a paycheck. So you've got to be very disciplined not to spend that money so that you have it for the holidays. Maybe you're going to use your credit card to pay for your expenses. And then if you're working or have a side hustle, then you can pay it off in January.
I like
We
this
have a
tip.
comment.
We have a
Yeah.
tip.
Okay, and this is from Ian. When you buy something on sale, put the balance, the money you saved, in the savings account.
That is genius.
That's good.
I'm gonna start
Such a
doing
great
that.
tip. Ian, we are going to steal your idea. I hope you don't mind. We love that. That is a great tip.
Especially if you were already planning to spend the full amount anyways.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, a TV. So say you saved the $400 that you needed to buy that TV, but Cyber Monday rolled around and it was 50% off. Well, you have a good little $100, $200
Right.
So
Throw
yeah,
that
put
into savings
into a
account.
savings that you were planning on spending anyways.
Yes. You can put that into your emergency savings, put it into your next year's
Christmas
holiday
club, yeah.
spend account. So a lot of great things. Oh my gosh, I love that tip. That's really, really good. And there's also opportunities. A lot of financial institutions will have special interest holiday loans this time of year with usually a 6 to 12 month payback. So, there's always that option as well. So whatever you're doing to help offset your holiday expenses, think about how you can make it even better for yourself next year. So when we're planning our holiday budget, we definitely need to write it down
Yes.
and be realistic about it.
Realistic. That's the word I like the most.
Yes, realistic. It's great when we think about, oh, I want to buy all these presents for all these people. But then when we start adding up what all of that costs, we know that it's way beyond our means. And that's where we start to use our credit cards. And then, oh no, here comes January and we can't pay it off. So really be realistic with your holiday budget. Be realistic, not just with your gifts, but your decorations. Do you really need all those new decorations this year, or can you use last year's? Do you really need a new tree? Do you need all the things? So, and thinking about your holiday meals. Are you gonna have friends over? Are you gonna go to friends' homes? What are some of the things that you're going to have to prepare for? Take a look at your list regularly and check things off your list as you buy a present for someone. Check that off. And if you make a list, and I know I'm really bad about my grandkids, I love buy presents for my grandkids. And I'll start with this, okay, I'm get them all one thing. And then I'm like, oh, but this one would like this. And so if I get that, I have to get the other two something, So just be very, very aware of what you can spend, and just limit and keep within that shopping list.
And say no.
Yes.
Say no.
It's very slippery because when you start saying yes, okay, just $5 more, $10 more here, or it's, it just pretty soon it just devolves into you've just spent a whole bunch more than you really planned on.
It's just like your college credit card.
Yeah.
It really is. It will add up so fast. And then January is going to come and you get that statement and you're gonna be like, what did I do?
Yep. Yep. I know. And in that time of year, I'm always happy. I'm always like festive. I know a lot of people feel a lot of stress with the holidays, and I do too, but I tend to be when I'm out shopping or whatever, and I'm looking at stuff, I'm like, I just love spending money, right? And I'm just in that happy mood, but I think, no, I really need to, I always do make a list, and then I try really hard to stick to that, especially the last few years, because in the past I have spent more than I should have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But just thinking of something that I have done in the past and I need to get back to with my Christmas club money. I used to put it on a gift card. And that's what I used for all of my shopping. So whether I was shopping in stores or if I was shopping online, I used my gift card, and I could track all of my expenses on there. And so it was separate from my everyday spend money. So I'm not tempted. I'm not using my credit card. I'm not using my debit card for any of my holiday spending. So that's another thing. If you want to keep that money separate from your credit and debit, put it in a gift card.
I have another question.
Oh, okay. Hang on. We're getting there. All right. An idea for gifts that don't cost anything. With other adults, trade skills. Everyone is good at something. Offer an hour or two doing something for them that they don't like doing for themselves. What a great gift that would be. I love that
paint my
idea.
house.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Oh, there's so many things. I need my windows cleaned. Somebody surely likes to clean windows, but I know it's not me. But I know there's things I do like doing that I could do for another friend. I love that idea. You could do that for your family too.
Yeah, I love that idea for adults especially, because again, there's always that pressure. Sometimes, you have a gift exchange and pretty soon it's like, oh my gosh, I spent money I didn't plan on.
Mhm.
If you could find a couple of like-minded other adults that are like, you know what, this is going to be either very low cost or free. We're going to trade these services. I really like that a lot. It's that financial responsibility. And there's no guilt because you
Right.
didn't spend.
But you still got to do something nice for somebody, and
Nice.
in the holiday giving spirit,
Yeah.
you still got to do it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Great idea. Thank you.
Ian's full of good tips.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about us spending freeze, the no spend November.
Ian says he had
Yeah,
coffee
too.
So I have so many good tips.
Loving it. Thank you, Ian. Keep that coffee going. So, a spending freeze. What do we do in a spending freeze?
First, I would go with figuring out what is all needed and what is all wants, your needs and your wants, and really freeze those wants
So,
for a set amount of time. So whether it's a month, maybe it's a quarter, I wouldn't be able to handle a quarter, but a month I could handle of,
maybe it's not no Starbucks. Sorry, Ian. You're gonna have to make your coffee at home. Maybe it's not eating
Not
out.
eating.
It's telling the kids, no, we can't eat at McDonald's. This is why. This is why we're not eating at McDonald's. And just really, really cutting back on those wants.
And only spending on what you need to survive.
Absolutely.
Your home, your electricity bills, your cell phones, the food that you're gonna eat, and we're,
That's
sticking
groceries, not eating out.
we're sticking to a list.
Yes.
Making sure when we go grocery shopping, we buy only the essentials. We're paying for the meals for that week. We're not buying the extra stuff. Don't have our kids put extra cookies in the cart, all those things.
And I explain those things to my kids because it's important to me. When I was a kid, nobody explained a lot of these financial concepts. It's like
Mhm.
sort of like if you don't figure it out yourself, I guess you're not going to.
Right.
But I do explain to my kids the trade-offs. So for instance, I'm very open with them and I say, okay, if we do this, then we can't do this other thing. So if we buy something at the grocery store and that adds up to $25 or $50 or whatever, then there's other things that we won't be able to do. So we really don't need these things as far as the spending freeze. Another thing that I like to do, if there's something that I really want, I want to wait 24 hours and kind of sleep on it overnight and think about when I wake up the next day, do I really still need that? If so, probably, I can go ahead and do it. So those are a couple things that, I do. But the other thing we can talk about is, if you're tempted to use a credit card or something, you can literally freeze it in a block of ice
Just like the photo.
and
Yeah.
put it in your freezer.
Yes. And that is something I do. I take a baggie, fill it with water, drop my credit cards in and put them in the freezer. Then I'm not tempted to use them when I don't. But if there's something that I really want and I thought about it, it's sitting out in my shopping cart or it's sitting in a store and I'm just like, I really want it. Then I have to thaw out the credit card. It gives me more time to think about it. And then if I still want it when that's all thought out, then I go and I purchase it. So it's keeping us from doing impulse buying, like we talked a few minutes ago, is doing that impulse buying. I like to call it couch potato shopping too. I'm sitting on the couch, I'm on my Amazon and I'm throwing stuff into my cart. Now, one of the things I will do is I'll put it in my cart and I'll leave it alone for a few days. And if I go back to it and I still want it, then I go ahead and I purchase it. But it's really giving yourself time and permission to say, I need to think about this.
Mhm.
But
If you have a no freeze month or whatever going, it is important to kind of unlink those credit cards from
Yes,
different areas.
yes.
Take it out of your Apple Wallet, take it out of your Amazon, so you can't just impulse buy that way. And you actually have to give that some more thought.
exactly.
We kind of talked about this already with really deciding what is a need and what is a want and distinguishing between the two.
And it's really important. And if you're not sure what your needs and your wants are, sit down and write out all the things that you spend your money on. One of the great ways to do that is if you utilize your debit or credit card for primarily all of your expenses, you can print out your statements and go through a highlighter and highlight things that were a need. So it's a roof over your head, it's your utility bills, your cell phone bill, your car payment, car insurance, homeowners insurance, or
Gas.
renters insurance, gas, childcare. If you're raising kids and you've got kids that aren't in school right now, or maybe this aftercare. So those are needs. You have to have somebody helping you take care of your kids while you're not at home. So it's really helping you identify those needs. And then everything else becomes a non-essential item. And those non-essential items, those are what you put into your freeze, your no spend freeze.
Mhm.
Well, that's all we have for you guys tonight.